The US government pays almost $2.5 grand for every single person who flies here. But why? To start figuring it out, my journey begins a few hundred miles away from here, right here in St. Louis, Missouri. Every single passenger on this flight today costs the US taxpayer $2,300. How and why? Well, that's what I'm going to try and find out today as I take a little flight down to Arkansas. Now, this isn't a normal commercial flight. It's operated by Southern Airways Express using this tiny 9-seat Cessna Caravan, and it's part of a government program called the Essential Air Service. The program subsidises flights to communities that otherwise wouldn't have enough passengers for airlines to serve them profitably. And looking at the size of the plane taking me to Jonesboro today, you can probably already see why this particular route needs a little help.
Okay, so whereabouts is that?
That'll be on that right side. You see seat 8 in the window?
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, right there.
Perfect, thank you.
There's just 9 seats on board, and today only 3 of them are actually occupied, one of them by a crew member. At each seat there's audio jacks so you can listen into air traffic control with an aviation headset, USB A and C sockets and a full 3-pin power outlet. After a short taxi there, we were lifting off for the hour-long flight down to Jonesboro, Arkansas. Alrighty then, we are airborne from St. Louis, heading south to Arkansas. And I have to say, as Cessna Caravans go, this is a very nice one. It's only a few weeks old and it's like a private jet inside, well, almost, apart from the noise. There's only 3 people riding on this plane as a passengers today, and one of those is a deadheading pilot, so actually there's only 2 paying passengers. The government subsidises this route every year to the tune of over $4.6 million. 4.6 million! And even with that, barely anybody uses it. Last year, just 2,015 people flew on this flight. That's all for $4.6 million, making the cost per passenger over $2,300. The question is why? Is there some reason that this is so expensive and that they keep running it? Well, that's exactly why we're heading to Jonesboro to try and find out. But what makes Jonesboro particularly unusual isn't just how few people actually use this flight, it's where we're actually flying to. Welcome to Jonesboro, Arkansas. Well, at a first glance, there doesn't seem to be a great deal here. Just a small general aviation airport on the edge of a small southern town. Thank you. Alrighty then, welcome to Jonesboro Municipal Airport in Arkansas. 2 destinations from here, St. Louis, Missouri and Nashville, Tennessee. It's served under the Essential Air Service program, which basically provides a subsidy for airports and communities that otherwise wouldn't see enough passengers to make it sustainable. But the question is, where do you draw that line between Essential Air Service and, well, whatever this is? Let's head into town and find out. Hey there, Jocelyn.
How are you?
I'm good, thanks. How are you?
Sorry, the little handle's all the way on the side.
Oh, it's okay, don't worry.
It's a little awkward. Do you live here?
No, actually, I live in Texas. I'm just visiting, just for the
What part
moment.
of Texas? I just moved back from Texas.
Oh, right, Houston, just outside.
Okay.
Yeah.
I love Texas. Me and my little family are going to be moving back.
Nice.
I miss everything about Texas. I miss there's no state taxes. I like the governor.
Yeah.
The governor is my main thing. Like, I like Governor Abbott, honestly.
Yes.
I really do. I like how he stands up for Texas. Like,
Yeah.
he stands up for his soil like a governor should.
Right.
They say we're some nice people.
Well, that's amazing. Well, thanks so much anyway, and good luck for everything, and hopefully you get back to Texas again. And
You as well, and you enjoy your stay, okay?
Thank you, I will do, yeah. Thanks a lot. See ya. Hey there. How are you? Checking in, please. Thank you.
I lived over in England.
Oh, did you? Whereabouts?
A little Air Force base. Alconbury.
Alconbury. One of my I think my great uncle was based at Alconbury in the 1960s or something. Grandparents used to talk about them all the time because they used to go and visit them, and I think she said they went to see John Denver play.
Alconbury, and it's like, wow.
I liked it, but I was there I was there 3 years, and I was like,
Yeah.
that's 2 years and 11 months too long. I want
Yeah, there's not a lot to do there. Yeah, perfect. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. See you later. Alrighty, welcome to Jonesboro, Arkansas. This room goes on forever and ever and ever, and then my little bedroom is at the bottom of here. This is the Hilton Garden Inn, one of quite a few hotels here in Jonesboro, because you know what, Jonesboro, despite being an essential air service place, well, it's not really that small or remote. Let's head outside and I'll explain a little bit more. I see Jonesboro is a pretty weird use of the essential air service. Most essential air service destinations are tiny towns out in the middle of nowhere, where the flights are literally a lifeline for the community. But here's the thing, Jonesboro is one of the biggest cities in Arkansas. Over 80,000 people call Jonesboro home, and on top of that, it's only an hour's drive up the road to Memphis, Tennessee. One of the biggest cities in the whole of America. But somehow Jonesboro maintains its essential air service designation. It's the second most expensive essential air service route per passenger in the whole country, and that's after Chadron, which is a very remote community that I've been to before, and that's hundreds of miles from the nearest major airport. But what do the essential air service rules actually say, and how is Jonesboro still getting funded? Let's have a look at the rules. Well, I've brought up the rules here that apply, and effectively, if a community is less than 175 miles from the nearest big airport, then there's two big rules really. First of all, they've got to have a minimum of 10 passengers per day on average across the latest financial year. On top of that, the subsidy per passenger has to be less than $650. But you see, Jonesboro qualifies for precisely none of those. It's a huge city, 80,000 odd people, and it's just 82 miles from Memphis. Jonesboro isn't isolated by any stretch of the imagination. It's even got a Cairns. That proximity to Memphis is precisely why nobody flies to this airport, because why would they? It's an hour away from flights all over the country rather than one of the 2 flights a day to St. Louis or Nashville if you want to. And because of that, only 2,000 people a year fly through here, which works out to about 6 people a day, which is far below the 10 people required to maintain essential air service. The lack of people is why it's so expensive, $2,300 per passenger, way above the guidelines of $600. So why does Jonesboro still maintain this essential air service status? The answer goes back to 1978. You see, before 1978, cities all across the US had air service, cities that you'd probably not even think about having flights to today. But then in 1978, deregulation happened. As a result of that, a lot of smaller cities risked losing their air service altogether. Jonesboro was one of them. It had flights with Mohawk Airlines for many, many decades before deregulation happened in 1978. As a result of that, the essential air service was set up precisely to protect places like Jonesboro that's had commercial service for all those years and suddenly risks not having it anymore because, well, it doesn't become viable for the airlines to keep serving smaller places like this. Jonesboro, however, got its essential air service connection way back in 1978, and it's been grandfathered in ever since then. Now, because of that, all the restrictions that have come in since then that would otherwise have stopped Jonesboro getting an essential air service subsidy, well, they don't really apply. It's been grandfathered in for all these years. As long as airlines still continue to serve Jonesboro, well, it's still going to keep its essential air service subsidy. Now, the issue is, if Jonesboro ever stopped getting service through the essential air service, well, it would then have to reapply under the new rules, which means that on pretty much every count, it wouldn't stand a chance, and it would be very likely that Jonesboro would just lose flight service altogether. And here's the thing, while it's very easy to look at these numbers and conclude that this flight is a complete waste of money, well, that's not necessarily how the people here in Jonesboro see it. Because Jonesboro isn't a dying little town. It's actually a growing regional centre, home to Arkansas State University, major hospitals and businesses that serve this entire corner of Arkansas. And having a scheduled airline service gives the city something that would be very difficult to get back if it ever disappeared. Because if Jonesboro simply gave up its essential air service flights, then that could be it. With Memphis just 80 miles down the road and passenger numbers nowhere near the levels normally required by the programme, there's a very good chance it'd never qualify again. So from the city's point of view, there's a pretty strong incentive to hang on to what it's already got. And when the contract for these flights came up for renewal, Jonesboro had alternatives, including proposals for larger jet aircraft with Contour. But local officials actually preferred keeping the smaller Southern Airways Express operation. So clearly somebody here still sees value in having these flights, and I can understand that. Air service can help attract businesses, connect a university and healthcare system to the rest of the country, and perhaps most importantly, once it's gone, it's probably gone forever. The question is simply whether maintaining that connection's worth more than $4.5 million of taxpayer money every single year, especially when most people have already chosen to drive to Memphis instead. And I'm not sure that really there's an easy answer to that.
Right, today I've been digging through government records to work out where taxpayers' money's going, and to be honest, I'd much rather not have other people digging through records to find out where I am. And that's where this week's sponsor, Incogni, comes in. You see, things like your name, address, phone number, email address, and even information about your family can end up in the hands of data brokers who collect it from all sorts of different sources before selling it on to other companies. That's one of the reasons that spam calls, scam emails and targeted ads have become so common these days. And that's where Incogni comes in. Instead of you having to contact hundreds of data brokers individually, Incogni automatically sends removal requests on your behalf and keeps following up until your information is removed wherever possible. One feature that I really like is their custom removal tool, so if you ever come across a website that displays your personal information, you can submit it directly to Incogni and they handle the removal request for that as well. So if you'd like to take back a little bit more control over your personal information, click the link in the description below and use my code NOELPhillips for an exclusive discount off an Incogni plan.
The next morning, I woke up to a beautiful sunrise over Arkansas.
Well, good morning from Jonesboro. It's time to head back to the airport. And today we're going to be taking the other flight out of Jonesboro to see if it's any busier and if we can maybe save the government a bit of cash by making it a little bit cheaper per passenger today. I mean, I'm doing my duty, aren't I? Let's go and see if it's any busier today. Hey, good morning. How are you?
It's about a 10-minute ride from the hotel to the airport, and on this beautiful morning it was quite a nice drive.
What a beautiful morning it is here at the Jonesboro Airport. We're back at the rather nondescript government building on the outskirts of Jonesboro to take our flight to, we're off to Nashville today.
On the first glance, it didn't appear there were going to be any more passengers today than there had been the day before. I was the only person here until a few minutes before we started boarding, but then another 2 people turned up. So once again, in total, we'd got 3 people on today's flight.
Hey,
How you doing?
good, thanks. How are you?
You'll be in seat 8.
Seat 8 again. Okay, perfect. Thank you.
As we headed back towards Nashville, I couldn't help but think about some of the other small cities that I've visited on my travels around America. Places like Safford, Arizona. Safford has a population of roughly 10,000 people. It's around 2 hours from the nearest major city, and today it's got no scheduled passenger flights at all. I've visited plenty of other places like it too, communities that are far more isolated than Jonesboro but don't receive millions of dollars every year to keep an airline flying there. And that's perhaps the strangest thing I've discovered on this trip. Essential air service isn't necessarily about which communities today need air service the most. In many cases, it's about which communities happen to have airline service when the industry was deregulated back in '78, and which have managed to keep that eligibility ever since. Jonesboro is a city of more than 80,000 people. It's around an hour and a half from Memphis, and last year barely 2,000 passengers boarded flights here. Yet because of a decision made almost half a century ago, taxpayers are still spending millions of dollars every year maintaining its connection to the national air network. Meanwhile, there's smaller and considerably more isolated communities elsewhere all over the country with no scheduled flights whatsoever. And that doesn't necessarily mean Jonesboro shouldn't have air service. I can completely understand why the city wants to keep it. And if I lived there knowing that once these flights disappeared they'd probably never come back, I'd probably want to hang on to them as well. But after taking both of Jonesboro's routes and seeing just how few people actually use them, I'm not really convinced that spending more than $2,000 a passenger is the best way of doing it. And perhaps that's the real problem. The Essential Air Service program was created as a temporary solution to a problem that America faced in 1978. Almost 50 years later, the country's changed enormously. The airlines have changed, the roads have changed, the cities it serves have changed. But in places like Jonesboro, the rules deciding who gets an essential air service really haven't. Oh, I'm all right, thank you. Thanks very much. So here we are then, we made it to Nashville. That was Jonesboro and the crazy expensive Essential Air Service flight. Let me know what you thought of that down in the comments. Do you think it's worth it to keep that going? My mind is open on that subject right now because it's nice, it's a beautiful little town, wonderful people there, but it's a lot of money, isn't it, to keep it going? But let me know what you think down in the comments. In the meantime, I'm off because I've got another flight to catch, but thanks so much for watching. As always, take care and I'll see you on the next one. Bye for now.